so to start off, yes, I know I'm late on the One Piece anime review. I'm going to get it later today. But with that said, holy shit, let's talk about this fucking chapter. Okay, so just jumping right into the fucking deep end of this shit. The end of the chapter, the last couple pages of the chapter, pretty much we have Law and the Heart Pirates versus the Blackbeard Pirates and Blackbeard himself. What the fuck, Oda? Like, holy fucking shit. Oda is really, like, okay. Law versus Blackbeard. Let's get right into that shit. There's a couple ways, honestly, there's a couple ways I see this playing out, but absolutely none of them playing out in Law's favor in my mind. First off, the obvious one is that, yeah, Law is going to die. Law is going to die from fighting Blackbeard. Like, that's the obvious one. Like, I think if there's no other, if none of my other predictions come true, then that is the most obvious one, that Law is going to die. His devil fruit is going to become, become Blackbeard. He's going to fly in the possession of Blackbeard, all that shit. Like, we pretty much know that's more or less the reason as to why, as to why Blackbeard is here, is because he more than likely wants Law's devil fruit. And honestly, just the implications of that alone are frightening. Like, from pretty much all that we've learned about the origins of the heart fruit from Doflamingo, like, just the idea of Blackbeard possessing this power, yeah, that shit is absolutely fucking frightening on its own face. But okay, let's say even if Law doesn't die, but the other thing is that Law doesn't die and he ends up escaping, but I think in some way he's still going to end. His Delford is still somehow like going to end up in Blackbeard's possession. Like, I think what more than anything, the one thing that this sets up is that it's going to finally show us how, I think this fight more than anything else is going to show us how Blackbeard has, how Blackbeard extracts these devil fruits, because that's one of the biggest mysteries, is how he steals devil fruit powers. And I think that this is more or less, this chapter is like, this fight between Law and Blackbeard is finally going to be used as a conduit in order to finally reveal, like, that information as to how he steals devil fruits, all that shit. Or the other part of this for me, which is the other part of this could be that Law escapes, and with still having his devil fruit, and he does so by having from Shanks and the Red Hair Pirates, like, step in and come save him. Like, that's another possibility of mine. Like, there's so many ways that this whole thing can fucking play that I don't know which one to really believe in, honestly. But I think more than anything, like, the last couple pages of this chapter, more than anything, prove Blackbeard is on the fucking rampage. Like, he's pretty much gunning for Law right now, and if he's gunning for Law, then that means that Luffy is more than likely on his next list. Like, I know, like, after, like, I'm sure in some way or another he probably learned what happened on Wano. He learned about the true nature of Luffy's power, and he probably wants that power for himself. Like, I think that's all. This is another question that it raises. Like, if he's definitely going after, like, Law, then Luffy probably isn't too far behind as well. Which also makes, I guess, the question: how much does he know? How much does he know of what happened on Wano, and how much, like, Luffy's devil fruit essentially evolved? Like, that's the big thing. Like, I'm almost certain that if he's gunning for Law so soon already, he pretty much knows. He knows about the power of he pretty much knows about that Luffy possesses the power of Joy Boy, the Gum Fruit, the human fruit Nika model, all that stuff. So, yeah, I'm not honestly, I'm not feeling too positive right now about but at the end of the day, like, I'm not, in current situation, I'm not feeling too positive about Law's chances right now. Like, either he dies and his devil fruit is stolen, or he escapes but his devil fruit is, or he narrowly escapes but his devil fruit is stolen. Like, I've got no idea what to think of this. And now, one other thing though to take note of with this confrontation, I guess, is that he was turned into very briefly he was turned into a woman, I think, or something like that. And I don't know, like, the only one I know who has the power to do it is pretty much Eva and Ivankov, but correct me if I'm wrong, but does Bonnie also have that same power? Like, does her power have something similar to that? Because if so, then that would mean that Bonnie herself, that kind of, this reveals in itself that Bonnie, like, doesn't have her, like, devil fruit power, like, anymore, like, that, like, again, I could be wrong on this, but it does, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I think this might reveal it. I think this confrontation also reveals the fact that, like, what happened with Law. It makes me wonder, does Bonnie have her devil fruit? But yeah, but okay. With all that said, the other big thing with this chapter is that our heroes end up in a confrontation. That Luffy, the Straw Hats, and Bonnie end up in a confrontation with supposedly a pacifista. Like, I don't know, this is another thing that was, like, Oda kind of really played with the idea of it being Kuma or, but I don't know which one it is. And the strangest thing about it is that shouldn't pretty much Bonnie, like, be able to tell which one is Kuma, her father, which one is a pacifista? Like, that part seemed kind of strange to me. I don't know why, but, like, and again, part of the fact, I think, too, is that it wasn't, Oda didn't entirely make it perfectly clear in this chapter as to whether or not that actually is Kuma or if it's a pacifista. I'm assuming it's a pacifista, but it's like, yeah, the whole way that whole exchange was constructed was just a little bit off, in my opinion. But either way, like, I think the purpose of that scene was to pretty much reveal to the rest of the crew that, yeah, that Bonnie is Kuma's daughter, kind of thing. So just to I think that's all it was meant to do, was to kind of reveal that connection between the two of them. But yeah, Oda's kind of playing around very loosey-goosey with that whole thing, and I don't think. And yeah, just seeing, like, a pacifist, just, it's amazing. But I will say, it is amazing how Oda can just take these concepts that are so goofy but still make them weirdly work. Like, a pacifista dressed in a police officer's uniform. That is so fucking hilarious, yet kind of intimidating weirdly at the same time. Like, a pacifist in a police uniform, like, something so strangely bizarre and yet strangely terrifying about that idea. Holy shit. Like, I guess if you want real world applications to it, yeah, a robot police officer, like, I mean, we've seen it with RoboCop, and yeah. I'm actually wondering if Oda is a fan of RoboCop, the RoboCop film. Now, I guess if I did have any actual complaints about this chapter, like, most of what I brought up are nitpicks, but if I did have any complaints, it's that it's honestly too short, and that honestly, like, everything just felt like it was happening so fast. But also, one other thing I want to bring up, it's gonna seem very minor, but this is also a chapter where I wasn't a big fan of the outfits that the Straw Hats are, the Straw Hats are sporting. Like, I wasn't, like, I get it's like high tech battle gear and whatnot, but yeah, I don't know why it doesn't look good on Luffy, especially like I don't know. Again, it doesn't work. Although I do gotta give props. Jinbei, I love I love the drip, dude. Like you seeing Jinbei in like a Hawaiian shirt, Hawaiian hoodie, whatever that is, like the what can I say? Like when you put Jinbei in Hawaiian in Hawaiian gear, it just in any kind of Hawaiian themed gear, it just that shit just fucking slaps and it works. But yeah, guys, that's really all I have for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Anyways Crunchyroll. Be sure to notification bell, the subscribe button, and just shit everywhere around, guys. Dark Knight of Anime, signing off. Later, everyone.